Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a platform fighting game where you play as your favorite Nickelodeon characters. With the second game coming out in just a few days, I thought I should send out Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1 with one last hurrah and make my review of the game. This won't be a long, drawn-out review. I want to make it short and sweet so you can know what to expect when coming into this franchise. So here is my review for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1. Let's start with the story mode, if you can even call it a story mode. The arcade mode in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is extremely basic and there really is not a lot to do. The arcade mode pretty much consists of just streamlined fights against different CPUs on different stages until you reach the end where you unlock some rewards. And those rewards are also extremely lackluster. You get little things like a profile icon and you complete an achievement, but that's really all. You don't get anything in game whenever you complete the story mode, and there's really no point to do the story mode other than to just play the entire game. In Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, the campaign looks a lot more full and it looks like there's significantly more things to do in the campaign. The arcade mode in this game just feels really basic, and it feels like it was quickly put together just so they have some sort of single player content there. Overall, the campaign in All-Star Brawl 1 is extremely basic, and I'm glad that in the second game they're actually improving on the single player. I think that All-Star Brawl 2 single player has a lot more to offer. With a roguelike campaign, it just is not even close compared to this game. Next up is the sports mode. I do think that this is a better experience than the arcade mode, but it's still very basic. The concept is you have two different teams who fight to put a soccer ball in each other's nets. First to 15 goals wins. I think that the concept for this game mode is much better than the delivery. I feel that it's less the game mode itself being bad, and more so that the game's speed interferes with the game mode being able to have a lot of replayability. I really think that All-Star Brawl's speed really interferes with the overall experience of this game mode. I think with the lackluster animations of the game and the speed being very fast, it makes game modes like this overall just not very fun to play. I can see this being a fun time with friends, but it's just one of those things that you play once and then never again. I'm unsure if this game mode is going to be coming back for All-Star Brawl 2, but I don't think that it'll be missed very much, as I don't see anyone really ever talk about the sports mode in this game. Overall, this game mode is just very basic and is just very okay. Now we have the training mode. The training mode is, once again, very basic. It does have some useful options like display hitboxes and pausing the game frame by frame, but it's still just extremely bare bones. In this review, you'll probably hear me say that a lot. The training mode works like a lot of other fighting game training modes, where you're just on a map with an opponent that is AFK, and I think if you're looking for a training mode where it's just extremely basic and it's just you versus someone who's not moving, that All-Star Brawl's training mode is going to work perfectly fine. But if you're a more competitive player and you want to look into the game a little deeper, I feel that this training mode is just simply not that. Things like displaying hitboxes and pausing the game frame by frame is very nice to have, but in my opinion, it is just not enough. All-Star Brawl 2 has stated that they do have a much more in-depth training mode coming into the second game, which is something that I think will work for the game extremely well for both casual players who want to learn more about the game and competitive players who want to break the game down by every single frame. Matchmaking. Matchmaking when the game was still booming with players worked perfectly fine. The game has rollback netcode, and whenever I played in matchmaking, I had little to no issues. Now the game sits in its grave with very little players online, making it almost impossible to find a match. There's a Discord server called Nick Brawl Grinders, and there still is a good amount of people in there that play the game every single day, but it's usually in private matches, so if you wanted to play, you would have to join the Discord. However, when you do find someone to play with, I have little to no issues with ping or netcode. It's just sad that you're not able to matchmake anymore. Now the final and most important part about the game: the gameplay. The gameplay in Nick Brawl is very okay. Feels like a great starting point for the series, but the gameplay on its own is just alright. The speed of the game is very fast, and I feel that it is too fast for its own good, coming from a melee player. The game's speed in combination with lackluster animations makes the game feel very cheap almost. I don't think that the game is bad by any means whatsoever. However, I feel that the gameplay is just extremely basic, and it has nothing standing out compared to any other stage fighter that's out there besides Nickelodeon characters. If Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was replaced with its own custom characters, the game would not get nearly as much attraction as it has, as the game has no identity whenever it comes to the gameplay besides the speed and the characters. I do not think that All-Star Brawl 1 is a bad game by any means. I just feel that it is a great starting point for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 to build up on. And from what we've seen with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, I feel that it has done that very successfully. I feel that All-Star Brawl 2 has taken what All-Star Brawl 1 is and just blew it out of the water. Gameplay-wise with All-Star Brawl 2, I think the slime meter was a fantastic addition to the game. The slime meter is something that we have never seen in any stage fighter before, and it actually gives All-Star Brawl its own identity. As well as All-Star Brawl 2 fixes a lot of the issues I have with All-Star Brawl 1. For example, the animations in All-Star Brawl 2 are much cleaner and much better. The speed of the game is overall slowed from what I've heard from other people who have played the game. In conclusion, I think that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1 is a great starting point for the series. I feel that the game is very basic, but I feel like they were just testing the waters to see how this game would perform in hopes to make a sequel for it. And with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 just a few short days away, it is looking like they are successfully building off what this game laid out, and I am more than excited to play Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 on release. All-Star Brawl 2 does come out on November 7th. I will be doing a stream right when the game does release. The game should be releasing early in the morning, probably around 10 EST, so I will be streaming the game as soon as it does come out. So if you want to see me play the game right when it comes out, feel free to join that live stream. But until then, sayonara.